Have I got a story for you? Hey, cycling community, this is Steve, Grusis the Cycling Greek. Today is Saturday, and ordinarily on Saturday, I'd be doing a long endurance ride. But today is rain, and tomorrow's going to be a lot warmer and sunny, so that's when I'm going to do my endurance ride. So I switched things up. This past Thursday, after being sick for about a week and a half, I finally felt like working out. Now, on my first day of being sick, I did do small walks and very easy gravel rides, whatever my body would allow. I did a little more during the weekend, but on Thursday, that is the day I truly felt like going out and completing a good workout. So here I am doing 4 mini races. Starts every 15 minutes, and it ranges from 2 2/3 miles all the way to 5 1/3 mile long. The reason I'm doing these races is to get back a little bit of what I lost. I was down again for about 10 days, pretty much, and I had built up my endurance quite a bit coming into this year, and in January I changed my training block to more of a build training block where I was doing a lot of sweet spot, or at least sweet spot on one day, and VO2 max work on the other day. I had increased my on-the-bike training time from about 11, 12 hours a week to 15 hours a week. All was looking good, and then boom, I got sick. That Thursday workout I mentioned, I started off with 5 pickups to get the juices going, so to speak. I rode for about 20 miles and then came to this 1 mile hill in which I did 4 by 4 minute VO2 max work. Then on the way back, I did about 8 30-30s, and that was good. I felt good after that. And more importantly, I felt good the next day. This first race started a little rough for me. It's probably a combination of things. Me just getting over being sick, probably needing one more day before I did high intensity stuff, but the weather changed that, of course, and that I'm on the back end of 69 years old. But as you saw, I was able to get myself up toward the front of the pack and just settle into that group. Now I'm looking at the data at the top, and it says I've only gone about 79, 80 feet, and there goes the main climb, and there's just under a mile left to go, maybe close to 1 kilometer. That's going to hurt me. I see that there's 78 riders in this race, and I always try to finish in the top half, so that means I've got to finish at about 39th or better. I'm in 33rd spot, 35th, 34th. I was going backwards, and there's still people behind me that are really close. Now, I'm not one that tends to put in a lot of work into finding out about the courses. So I'm hoping that the next course is going to be a lot flatter because this one has climbing, especially at the end. Currently, I'm in 34th place, and I have 5 people within 2 seconds behind me. Then the next one after that's going to be about 7 seconds. It is still possible to get that top half. My wattage has dropped way down because I just need to rest a little bit. These tenth of miles are ticking off oh so slow. What was concerning to me was that I was not able to put out a lot of wattage. But again, with those reasons previously stated, that's to be expected. Well, I got 34th and top half. On to race number 2. Now, in this one, I figured I was a little more warmed up because of all the higher intensity stuff in the first one. I started off stronger, but I found this race tough. I couldn't move up in the pack like I wanted to move up in the pack. And other than the reasons that I gave before, I think there's a new reason that I was thinking of. This is a strong group I'm competing against. I'm putting a lot more work than I'd like to into trying to stay with the main pack. Be that as it may, let's talk a little bit about the timing. Now, in a couple of weeks, I'm going to have my first race of the season. In the past race seasons, I always wanted to make sure I was in pretty good race shape because usually I had like 3 race weekends in that first month of the season. This year, because I'm racing age of 70 and then I'll have a chance to go to nationals, I wasn't worried about being as race ready for the beginning of the season because I wanted to peak in June. Still, I didn't want to be totally devoid of my upper end so I could still enjoy and benefit from those early season races. While being sick for 10 days during that critical block certainly didn't do me any favors, I have to be careful not to overcompensate my training to try and get my form back in about 2 or 3 days. It is what it is. I honestly think I'll be fine. So to the action on the screen, we are on a climb, and I certainly don't like the climbs, especially today. Now, I can sit here and tell you that I'm sagging the climb, but I'm not sagging the climb. I'm going as hard as I can right now. And again, I'm going backwards. For the life of me, I can't get over 300 watts, so I'm hoping that I can crest with somebody, and it looks like I have. So I have a group here, and I'm hoping they catch us up to other groups. Will they catch us up to the leaders? When I look at the insert map in the upper right-hand corner, we're really stretched out, and the gaps are starting to form. So again, I'm hoping that I can finish in the top half. Again, we have about 76, 78 riders, and I'm in 50th position. So far, it's not looking that good. We have a little over 1K to go, and we have about 45 more feet of climbing to do. And I'm hoping 45 feet of climbing is not a lot. I need to get to 36th place, and that's about 8 places in front of me, 9 places now, and it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to do that. I'm now hoping that I at least finish better than 50th place. Half a K to go. I'm trying to find a wheel so I can just position myself for the sprint, or at least be able to draft as they drag me back in. Ordinarily at Zwift races, I think about jumping before the sprint, but that's not going to be today. Okay, less than 1,000 feet. There's a finish, and I come in about 44th. Okay, better than 50, not half. On to the third race of the 4-race Tiny Series. Now this one had the second longest mileage at 4 miles with the most climbing, but not by a lot. The first race was the climbiest race. Still, this was going to hurt me. In fact, let's jump to the climb now. This is with 2.6 miles to go. I'm holding pace around 25th place. We have 80 in this race, so that means I got to get 40th or better. I'm keeping an eye on that profile that's right above our avatars there in the color. So when it gets to yellow, it's not as bad. When it gets to orange, then it gets a little steeper. And that's what I'm always looking at. I'm concentrating on what I'm doing, and every once in a while I look up to see if I've actually passed the orange part. I'm now in about 45th place. So I'm getting stretched out here. I'm still hanging on, but when you look at the profile again, you see a lot more climbing coming up. For the moment, it's still possible for me to finish in the top half, but that's slowly going away. I look at the profile again, and it gets a little steep right before it flattens out. I know I mentioned this before, but for the life of me, I can't get to 300 watts. I'm now down to 56th place, and I look at the little insert map, and I am toward the end, and there's not a lot of people behind me. With the steep part still to come, the possibility that I crest with somebody that can help me get to groups ahead of me, it's not looking so good right now. We are just about to crest, so I need to get up to that group. So I left the people that I'm with, or at least I'm dragging them up with me, so I can get to that group so I can descend with them. Now I get to one guy, but everyone else is left us, so now he gets some legs under him. I get on his wheel, hoping that he's going to drag us up to that group ahead. Some people come by, at least one guy comes by. I'm now having to put a lot of extra energy again to catch up to them when I do, and I'm hoping that they drag us up, at least to those people over there. Now, I'm in 55th place. I need to get to 40 or better. The likelihood of that happening is, again, very small. Jumping to 1,000 feet, we're all still together. I'm able to drop one person with a small attack, and then I get countered. Chase after that guy. That's it. Can't catch him. On to race number 4. Finally, to the last race. Now, this one's going to be the longest one, a little over 5 miles, and had under 200 feet of climbing. Now, I was definitely feeling the accumulation, but I was able to stay with the front pack even over the intermediary climb, which I was pleasantly surprised about. Even though I haven't gotten the results that I would ordinarily expect in these races, this has been a very good workout for me, helped me get back on track again. Tomorrow, all I'm doing is an endurance ride. In fact, it's going to be about 5.5, 6 hours worth. And it's not going to go above moderate endurance. I'll have a bit of a challenge with my regular workouts midweek next week because we have rain coming. Let's take a jump now over to the start of the finishing climb. With under just half a mile to go, I'm already dropped at the start of the climb. I guess I used up my bananas at that previous intermediary climb, and now I'm just hanging on. So we have about 75 people. I need to get to about 37th place to get into my top half, and everyone's going ahead of me, and people in back of me are going past me. Let me now take this moment to say, I hope you enjoyed this video and you got something out of it. As always, remember, comment, like, subscribe. The Cycling Greek.